So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Coming back to chapter 6. This chapter 6 is a continuation from chapter 5. If chapter 5, we learn about fast mover advantage. So, this chapter 6 is about defining organization strategic direction. Meaning to say that we are going to look further on how or what kind of analysis that the company can do to ensure that before they decide to enter, okay, to enter certain market, introduce certain new product, what are the analyses that the company can do? Okay, so coherent technology innovation strategy leverage firm existing competitive position and provide direction for future development. So things that we must remember here is about leverage. Leverage meaning that we know company already have those advantage. Now, what the company can do to make sure that they can gain more, they can gain more. Gaining more, exploiting the advantage that you have to gain more advantage, those are leverage. Okay, formulating this strategy require appraising the firm's environment, appraising firm's strength, weaknesses, competitive advantage, and core competency. And last one, to articulate an ambitious strategy intent. So these are things that the company must know. The first thing that they have to do before they decide on a perfect timing to join the industry. So assessing the current position because every company already know what is going on in their position, what is going on in their company. The thing is that what are the things outside of the company in the industry? What is going on in the industry? This is the most important thing that influence the success of the success of the timing to enter the market. For the external analysis, one analysis that always the company can or the company can opt to is Porter's 5 forces model. In 5 forces model, it has 5 main force, which is the existing rivalry. Rivalry meaning that the competitors, potential entrant, easy to enter or not easy to enter the market, bargaining power of supplier, bargaining power of buyer, and threat of substitute product. So these are the main 5 things that is, according to Michael Porter, okay, these are the 5 forces that is important and the company must know to ensure that they understand what's going on in the industry. Okay, we look at the first one, degree of existing rivalry. Rivalry meaning that we are looking at the competitors in the industry. There are 2 types of competitors. The first one is direct competitor. Second one is indirect competitor. Okay, so determined by number of firm, relative size, degrees of differentiation between company, demand condition, and exit barriers. So if the company it has more firm, okay, more rival in the industry, meaning that the rivalry level in the industry is high. If less company, meaning that the rivalry level is low. So if the rivalry level is high, the company will face problem because any changes, a big changes of the solution or product available to the market will make the customer move or change from purchasing from the company to the competitor's company. So this is the reason why if we have many players in the same industry, price always a matter, especially in the online situation. Second, threat of potential entrant. It determined by attractiveness of industry, height of entry barrier. If the industry is so easy to join, very easy to enter, we will have, or the company can expect that lots of rival in the same industry, but it is not easy to join, meaning that the competition level is lower. So if we are talking about market goreng pisang, everybody can join. If we are talking about teh ais sedap, everybody is easy to join. But if we are talking about franchise, okay, franchise of coffee, macam sekarang ni macam, ataupun aiskrim, contoh macam milk tea, aiskrim and so on, meaning to say that it is not in term of entry to enter the industry is not that easy. If it is easy, meaning that you will have more competitors. If it's difficult, meaning that the competition level is lower. That's why avian industry, syarikat penerbangan only few in Malaysia. Because you just imagine how to enter the industry. It will cost, it will give, firstly you have to have a license lah, and so on. There's a lot of things you have to fulfill. And bargaining power of supplier determined by number of supplier and their degree of differentiation. The portion of firm input obtained from a particular supplier, a portion of supplier sales sold to a particular firm, switching costs and potential for vertical integration. When we are discussing about supplier, there are certain industries that even though there are so many players in the industry, but the supplier is little. If we have less supplier, meaning that the cost of getting the supply is higher. If we have lots of supplier and less buyer, meaning that easy for the company to get the supply. So if the supplier is more, meaning that the supplier power is less. Okay, and the demand power is high. If less supplier, meaning that the power of supplier is high, the demand power is low. So all of these actually can be discussed based on like number of supplier, supplier sales sold to a particular firm, because there are some firm will have the, like for example like sale contract, and they have to sell at certain price. And switching costs, like we thought earlier, sometimes some company don't mind to pay extra so long they get what they want. And potential for vertical integration. Vertical integration meaning that a company that integrate with channel members, those are vertical integration. Okay. Jadi when we are discussing about channel members, meaning from the supplier to the consumer. So along the line, they probably have another supplier, set of supplier, and also set of channel members. Jadi vertical integration. If like for example like Lazada, now they already have some company integrate with some company for delivery. So those are vertical integration. Okay. Bargaining power of buyer determined by number of buyer, the firm degree of differentiation, a portion of a firm input sold to a particular buyer, a portion of a buyer purchase brought from a particular firm, switching costs and potential for vertical integration. Actually, in terms of discussion, bargaining power of buyer and bargaining power of supplier is the same thing, only that the position is changed. Because when a company purchase a product from supplier, they are the buyer. When a company sell the product to the customer, they are the seller or supplier. So when we are discussing about this, you have to remember that the discussion should be the same, but the context depend on what the position of the company at the time you made the discussion. If the company state as they wanted to purchase from supplier, meaning that they are the buyer. If you state that the condition where they are selling, the company is selling to another customer, meaning that they are the supplier. Threat of substitute determined by number of potential substitute, their closeness, function, and relative price. So substitute, it can be if you cannot use this, you cannot use the product to serve the benefit, can you change it to another product? Those are substitute. Okay, so if the function almost the same, the price not change much, basically your threat of substitute very high. Almost similar product in the market. If you are able to differentiate your product very different from your competitor, meaning that at that point, at that time, you have the higher competitive advantage. That's why people are looking as a company, especially the first mover team, they will make sure that their product is really can be differentiated easily by the customer. Okay. And so recent Porter has acknowledged the role of complement. Complement meaning that the product that can be purchased together to ensure that the higher usage of core product. So first one is how important complement in the industry. Complement are suppliers, whether complement are differentially available for the product of various rival. Will it impact the attractiveness of their goods, and who capture the value offered by the complement? So a part of looking at these five important things, okay, recent development of five Porter's model also looking for the complement. Sebab we already discussed about the competitor uh, barriers entry to enter in terms of supply, in terms of consumer, another parties that is also started to become under the spotlight of Porter model is complement. So this is how the Porter model look like. Degree of existing rival, and this is the potential entrant or entry barrier. This is bargaining power of supplier. If you purchase the product from supplier, therefore you are buyer. When you are selling the product to customer, meaning that you are the supplier, and threat of substitute product. Newer development also consider the need or the complement, the complement. So this is the firm current situation. When the firm already know this, already have this position, only they can have somewhat a better idea on how to position themselves in the industry. That is one. Second one, for example, if they wanted to introduce a new product or services, they know what is the perfect time to release it, to make it available to the market. Okay, second one is stakeholder analysis. So firstly, the firm need to know who are their stakeholders. It can be customer, employee, stakeholders, stockholders. Okay, if the company is a public listed company, lenders, rivals, suppliers, government, local community. And then what does stakeholder want? Fulfilling the stakeholder sometimes is very troublesome. You cannot like fulfill everyone needs, but there are certain things that is very important in which you want it or you don't want it, you like it or you do not like it, you still have to fulfill. For example, like government policies, okay, government regulation. And what claim are they likely to make an organization? What can they come to you and ask? If we are discussing about rival, there are some possibility that they come to you and says that you are stealing our technology. You are stealing our strategy. So those are things that considered as the stakeholders. So internal analysis, this is another thing that a company must do, a firm must do. We already discussing about stakeholders. We are discussing about stakeholders, meaning that it is beyond the industry. It is beyond the industry. If for Porter model, it is about the industry. Stakeholder analysis beyond the industry. Internal analysis, whatever within the control of the organization. So primary activity looking for the inbound logistic, operation, outbound logistic, marketing and services. So these are the things as a core to produce the product. Okay, to produce the product. And second activity known as the support activity are other things to make sure that all the primary activity runs smoothly. For example, like firm infrastructure, you need to have internet, you have to have good connection, you have to have system, and also you have to have a very effective of human resource management to handle the human capital, technology development on R&D situation, procurement, purchasing of the product. Okay. Also, assess which strength have potential to be sustainable competitive advantage. Competitive advantage again is about what a company have to compete. So generally it has rare, meaning that it's not easy to find, valuable, durable, inimitable. Inimitable meaning that it's not easy to be imitate. It's not easy for other company to imitate. All of these, 1, 2, 3, are the competitive advantage. But all of these 4 are the sustainable competitive advantage. If the product easy to imitate, meaning that that particular firm with the strategy only have competitive advantage. But if it is not easy to imitate, it becomes the sustainable competitive advantage. And this is what Coca-Cola have, okay, for such a long time. So resources are difficult to imitate when they are tacit. Tacit meaning that it's inside people's mind unless you take it out. Path dependent. Path dependent meaning that this particular firm already have the strategy, the path that they are having, in which are the people not easy to come. Probably they are securing in terms of vertical integration. When JV collaboration, especially in vertical or horizontal, even horizontal integration, give lots of advantage in terms of it's not easy to imitate. Socially complex. There are some of the social or community that is not easy for us to come. For example, like if company from outside wanted to penetrate China market, it's not easy because of the socially complex. And then last one is the causality ambiguous. Meaning in the future, you are not really sure what will what will happen to existing product, existing strategy. If you have this, but the firm at the same time know they have tacit knowledge, they know about past independent, they secure the social or community related, basically they also have the sustainable comparative advantage because all of these fall under this category, inimitable. Okay, now when talking about advantage, okay, we have what I call core competency and capabilities. Core competency and capabilities. So core competency is a set of integrated and harmonized ability that distinguish the firm in the marketplace. So competency typically combine multiple kind of ability. So if we look at Apple, in terms of design is there, in terms of advanced technology is there, in terms of what we call compatibility also is there. Those are the combination of various ability available for the product. And several core competency may underlie a business unit. So if we are discussing about market department for Apple, meaning they must have lots of core competency for one business unit. And several business units may draw from same competency. So combination of several business unit can be also referred as department, depending on what kind of what we call departmentalization of the company. Okay, so some business unit may draw same competency. And core competency should be a significant source of competitive differentiation, cover a range of business, and be hard for competitors to imitate. So this is the component of core competency. Significant source of competitive differentiation, meaning that if we are discussing about these special characters, only this product has. That's what it means by competitive differentiation. And cover range of businesses, which in the business, okay, we have what we call a target market. So this target market also can be defined based on how much the core competencies can cover for certain market. Okay, so this is the core competency of the corporation. We can have a core product 1. Core product 1 probably have a competence 1 and competence 3. For core product 2, they have the competence 2 and competence 4. Okay, based on this core product 2, it should support business 1, business 2, business 3, and business 4. So these are the what we call the business unit. So meaning to say that all the competence that a company has may produce the traditional product, or they can also have a product that supports several business units. That's what I mean. Okay. And then risk of rigidities. Rigidities meaning that if the product is too rigid, it's not easy for you to get latest update. It's not easy for you to upgrade, meaning that the technology is too rigid. So when firm excel at an activity, they can become overcommitted to it and rigid. Because the element of rigidness contribute to sustainability. Okay, one certain product is rigid, meaning that it's not easy to be imitated. So incentive and culture may reward current competency while supporting development of new competency. So what I mean by this is that it may reward, however, at the same time, it also limited of new competency. And dynamic capability are competencies that enable the firm to quickly respond to change. That's why people say that firm has to be dynamic. You cannot be too rigid. Too rigid meaning that you have to follow every step without without asking. So for example, firm may develop a set of ability that enable it to rapidly deploy new product development team for a new opportunity. Firm may develop competency in working while alliance partner to gain needed resource quickly. So firm may develop competency in working with alliance and partner to gain needed resource quickly. This is another way that the company can do to ensure that they are staying competitive and be dynamic. This can happen with vertical integration. And then strategic intent. Strategic intent is a long-term goal that is ambitious, build upon and stretch firm core competency, and draw from all level of organization. So what I mean by this is that they will look what will happen in the future. Okay, they can estimate. So that's why we can see, we can expect, for example, to those iPhone users, they can expect after 1 year, there will be new model. After certain time, there will be no new model. So those are the clear milestones that have been embedded in the customer mind, in the user's mind, in which it lead, okay, the expectation lead the way society behave to the product provided by the firm. So firm should identify resources and capability needed to close gap between strategic intent and current position. If, for example, suddenly iPhone is supposed to come out by following the timing and trend. They're supposed to come out with a new product, for example, in February 2023. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. Things may change, make that there probably some delay due of some problem. Maybe the product is not ready, mature. The product is not mature. They anticipate some problem in the upcoming product release. So in that case, so firm current position, resources and capability underlying current position, and firm desire future position, resources and capability necessary for future position. So this is the resource and capability gap. So meaning to say, Apple, if they come into condition, they need to sort out what can they do to ensure that the product still release based on the society expectation. Because we must remember that earlier we learned that society or customer actually also one of the important stakeholder to the company in the stakeholder analysis. Okay, that's it for this chapter. Chapter 6 is approximately 30 minutes. And I will stop the recording.